John here. Here's liquid day number 132. This is a Paul Gilbert-inspired picking run. As usual, I'm going to play it once slowly and then break it down. And during the breakdown, I'm going to share some practice advice that you can apply to this lick and pretty much anything else you're practicing. So we start here on the 14th fret of the low E string. Alright, this one is based on the E Aeolian scale, so E natural minor, 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, and the root again. And we started on the second of the scale. We're just going to go up the whole scale like this. And even though this is one of the simpler things to play on a lot of instruments, just a scale going up, that's really tricky on guitar, especially with alternate picking. And the reason for that is because you have to travel across so many strings at fairly high speed. So a good thing to practice here is the initial shift to the third string, because a lot of people have no issue doing that, just two strings at a time. But when you have to cross to the third string, and I believe the reason for that is that you kind of have to decide what to do with your picking hand, if you want to keep the same picking angle and all that stuff. So you kind of have to go all in and get that transition down. So a good thing to practice here is to just do that. So you go that far. And of course you can make this into a repeating pattern as well. So you just go . Practicing anything like that involves a third string is very helpful. And now I basically just went up to the first note here, but if you want to be a bit more systematic about it, you can go up to the second note as well. And then add the third as well. And I would suggest you move this around the fretboard. And even better, I think, applying it with my mechanical type practice, where you use 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4 in turns. So if we do that with the last example we played, it would sound like this. 1, 2, 4. 1, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. And then you have to do that from the A string, D string, G string, and then move that around the neck. So that's a really effective way to get used to that shift to the next string. So now when you know that, you can start applying this to this shape, and I'm going to show you the shape now. So it's going to be 14, 15, 17 on the E and A, and you have 12, 14, 17 on the D and G. And then finally you have 15, 17, 19 on B and E. So, and from this point, we're going to go back like that. So basically groups of 3 on one string. So what I did here, went up to the last group of 6 and then just go back where I came from. But I think it's easier to visualize from this note, and you go down 3, 3, and 3. So then we'll go down the scale. So this is just 19, 17, 15, 17, 15, 14, 15, 14, 12. After that, we're just going to go down like this. 15, 13, 12, 14, 12, 11, and now we end up here 12 on the pinky. So you have a shift. So after that, once we're here on the 12th fret of the G string, we're just going to go down this 2 groups of 6. 1, 2, and then end up on the root here on the 7th fret. So everything all together. And for practicing this, I think you might run into problems here. You're not used to playing that on one string. It's a lot of shifting here, every 3 notes. So a good idea here would be to take this part and just go between, then go back, so you can do that specifically in this position, but also move it around the fretboard. And if you want to stay in this position, just do it with a timer. So you don't have to sit there and be like, yeah, how long should I do this for? Put the timer on 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, and just make sure to find a tempo where everything is absolutely perfect. And also, if you want to keep it to the picking of this lick, make sure you start with an upstroke on this note. And after that, you can go from this point. It's a good one because you get incorporated string skipping and actually makes it lick harder, since you don't actually do this skip in the lick, but it will improve your technique so much more by doing that. So now you're incorporating both the single string picking thing and this first descending group of 6. So you have another thing to keep in mind here with the position shifts, look at my hand or my fingers. When I go from here, my hand is quite, 1 finger per fret. And very compact. But as I go back, I stretch my hand so I don't have to skip as much. Because if I keep my hand like this, I have to do a very big position shift. It's not very big in sort of, if we remove the guitar, it looks ridiculous to move a tiny bit, but on guitar it's kind of a big shift. So by actually using the very fact that you can extend your fingers to your advantage, that's much better for your shifting. So if you look at that again, contracted, then I stretch it out here. Whoops, and don't do that. But what I do when I practice this slowly, I would make sure that as soon as I hit this note, my pinky will go out. So that's something you can check out when you do anything that uses position shifts and you want them to be quiet, meaning you shouldn't hear it as a slide. So that's really helpful. And this is something that I've completely borrowed from violin technique. They do it all the time because no one wants to hear that all over the place if it's not specifically something you want to have control over and you want that sound. So by utilizing the actual mechanics of your hand, then you can get around that kind of annoying sound. All right, that's it for this one. If you have any questions, just post them below. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed it and see you in the next one.